Obviously an under-strength side, but what do you take from that?
Oh, look, I think probably the young group we had out there, we needed a bit of luck early in the game. We knew they probably had a better side on paper. Well, not probably, they definitely had a better side on paper. But I thought our boys probably didn't handle the pressure early. I thought Richmond's pressure was right up, where we know it is most weeks with them, and our guys just didn't match that. So, coming at quarter time, was it 42 points to 0? Makes it hard for the rest of the game. But I thought the positive to come out, our guys didn't give up. They hung in there and managed to turn it around slightly. We matched it, a really good side for the last 3 quarters.
It's a very young forward line. How much will you guys get out of playing against the likes of Alex Rance and Troy Chaplin?
Well, plenty. I think it's, our main talk to the guys at the end of the game was about will be better for the experience. You play against some of the best players in the game, you learn things from the way they go about it. So with our young forward line up there, and Rance and Chappie, they're very experienced players. You're only going to learn from playing alongside them, even if they are beating you. It's amazing how when you make errors, you learn more from that than when you win games of footy.
Who in particular thought took their chances today?
Sorry?
So who in particular you think took their chances? Nathan Cracker, for example? Yeah,
really love what Crack's been doing. He showed that a solid game. Nothing outstanding, but a solid game from him. I thought it was great to have Jared Redden back. To see him playing footy again and what he can do around the footy, he's underdone. So we're going to do some work on his fitness, as we know. But to get him back out there was fantastic. Dougal Howard, a first-year player to play back in his home area. To get out there and have a run around, he's probably one of the guys that we'll learn most from this sort of game. But some of our leaders, some of our older guys who we kept in, like Polak, I thought obviously had plenty of football and tried to lead, and so he'll improve from that.
You mentioned Jared Redden. How important will it be for you guys this year if you do manage to keep him fit?
Well, hopefully very important. I mean, Lobes has sort of carried that rucking role all last year, and it's quite a toll on his body. So to have another ruck in there, with Paddy Ryder coming across as well, gives us another option there. But Reddo, if we can get him up and going, he's a real key ruckman. He's a big body, slightly different style to what Lobes is. So it gives us that a bit of flexibility with what we go.
Deserves a change of luck, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And he's been working really hard. He's had 2 months where we've put him under pressure. We've asked him to respond, and he has. So that's why he was here today.
Is it difficult, the uncertainty over Paddy at the moment? Have you got any sort of feeling of when he may or may not be available?
I have absolutely no idea. As far as we're out of control, we can't control that. We have fingers crossed we can get him as soon as possible because he's a very good player.
How hard is it to learn about your players when the teams are that outmatched, when they're that lopsided?
I think you learn more. Yeah. I honestly think you learn more about the guys that step up when the game is like it is at quarter time or halfway through the second quarter. They're the guys that when the chips are down, they're going to give you something. So, and we saw that today. There were some guys that we'll probably need to do a lot more work with. But the pleasing thing out of the whole game was that it didn't blow out. It didn't end up being a 100-point loss. And so that's a real positive we'll take away. There's obviously a lot more detail we'll go through because these guys are a really young group, and hopefully they take something away from this game and become a better player. You're right.
How close do you get to your best 22 for next Saturday against Adelaide?
Well, we'll push again to get most of our guys back in. That's our last real hit out, before we get into it. So that was the plan all along, was to play a younger side this week. That's gone according to plan. Obviously not the result today, but we'll go strong next week. Again, we'll try to get as many back in as we can of those senior players.
Ray, Wingard, Boak, Hartlett?
Hearts is one that we'll have to wait and see on, I think, with Hearts. Although, all reports that came back were very positive from what we were probably initially a little worried about where he'd be at. But I think we're looking at 1 to 2 weeks. Now, whether we risk him for Adelaide, that might be a decision made at the last minute.
And Indy came out again before the game, hamstrings on?
Yeah, unfortunately, we came across to play and he just got a bit sore on the trip over. So we didn't want to risk Jarman because he's actually been fantastic over this pre-season. Not only games, but the way he's trained. So hopefully he's going to be okay. The fact that we didn't play him today means we'll hopefully get him in next week.
Could Yoga and Wagner go from, something of a novelty, the way that he at least came to the club? Can he take that step? Yeah,
I think he can. I think it's hard to judge a young player like him today. with a lack of real leadership out there, so Travis Boak and guys like Lobe not being out there, even Schultz and Westhoff in our forward line, it's really hard for a young kid like Yowie to get into a game like that. And we already talked about the strength of Richmond with their backs. I mean, they're very experienced, so it's hard to judge him as an individual on today's game. What we were looking for really out of this game was, some individual stuff we can work on, but as a team, how did these guys perform? So we're not going to really go too hard at Yowie. I think he's got some fantastic potential, but maybe in a better side we might see a little bit more.
Last one for me, perhaps. You had a really tough run early, Matt, don't you, with your opponents you faced in the first 5 weeks. You've got to be firing early. What sort of shape do you feel that the team is in heading into a difficult start, clearly?
Yeah, really good shape. As far as our, what we would, I guess, perceive as our best 22, we're really happy with where the group's at the moment, and that's why we were able to play some younger guys at this point. I think if we didn't perform where we'd want to be last week, then maybe we would have put a few more in this week to try and find some form, but things have gone to plan as far as that goes, and we've got a massive challenge for the first month and a half, 2 months, so best way to be. Shows you where you're at straight away, and we pride ourselves on the way we start the season, so we look forward to it.
Thanks, man.
It's my pleasure, guys. Thanks a lot.